So welcome to Managerial Accounting. This is your second accounting course in your college education. So welcome. I'm glad you're continuing to pursue your business education. What we're really going to be covering here, and what I hope that you all will learn, is how to abstract the concept of allocation. And so the goal here is, how can we pursue some really meaningful concepts that we can not just use in business, but in our own lives, like budgeting, forecasting, allocation, making estimates. All of these concepts are things that you'll see we need to use for business, general business, not just this concept of financial accounting, but also in our personal lives, like building out schedules, building out plans for the future. This is really about how can we use the past to predict the future. And obviously that's what you're doing with your college education, right? You've made a decision that college education is going to make you have a better future based off of probably some of your past actions or what people have told you, inputs. That's what we're going to be doing in managerial accounting, is how do we do that with businesses? But I'm going to do my best to make sure this is applicable to your everyday life if you're not looking to become an accounting expert yourself. So class will always be here from 9 to 12:15. Sometimes we'll be ending early, depending on how quickly we get through the lectures. It will be Zoom until further notice. I know we will have a lot of questions on what the pandemic will bring and if we will be back in class. Right now, it's just Zoom until further notice. No one has the answer for this, unfortunately. So we'll just see, and thank you for bearing with me. I know it's been a tough few years. I will be having office hours before class, and I can stay after. I don't cover homework questions live in class unless I'm getting a lot of the same ones. That doesn't mean I don't cover homework questions. Come to my office hours and I'll go over your independent homework questions always. If you don't come to my office hours, it's not fair to the other students to go over independent questions when some people aren't having problems with the same issues. That's the same for every college class worth its weight in salt. So if you have questions, come to my office hours. I'll stay late with you too. You're welcome to ask questions on the lecture material when I pause during class. You need to take financial accounting because we're going to be covering some journal entries here. So you need to make sure you know your journal entries. If you feel like it's been a while, or you don't have, if you need a refresher, I have all of my lectures on my YouTube channel, Business Core Tutoring, with summaries and refreshers for Accounting 101. So you can go back and probably get a good summary in less than an hour. And if you want to get ahead, I have all my 2020 lectures on managerial accounting, and I'll be making a new playlist for 2021 lectures. We will be covering different material. I change it every year, so I change the pacing every year. So you have to attend our lectures, but this is a good way to get ahead. I also talk about other financial concepts and do some interviews with other academics on this podcast on becoming. So there are just other resources if you want to continue to learn more. This is the required textbook. Yes, you need it and you need the code. There's not a cheaper option. This is the cheapest I could find that has the material that you need and also can give you homework. I have a lot of homework in this class. We'll go in that in a little bit, because you need to practice. Accounting is a science, and you need to learn the frameworks the only way you can learn it is through practice of homework questions. By doing the homework and learning the homework, you're going to get very good at the exams. So it's very conceptual, but it's an applied science, right? You're learning a skill here. So you need to do the homework. I did it myself when I was in managerial accounting, and I found it very helpful for my future career. So a little bit about myself before we go into all this. All this is hyperlinked. And so you can see my LinkedIn. I'd recommend you all start making LinkedIns. If you want to know anything more about me, you can connect with me here. A little bit about myself. I currently work at Google Cloud. That's my full-time job. And then I've been teaching at Ohlone for over 2 years now. So I teach one class a semester. It's something I enjoy doing. So that's why I'm here. I want to help you. I went to community college myself. That's where I started my educational journey. So I think there's a lot of value here. And I had a great career because of community college. That's where I started. So I was originally in Los Angeles, but I moved up to the Bay Area. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you, but I'm a working professor. So I can give you a lot of real world experience and where I think this will be valuable. Before I was at Google, I was a consultant for about 3 years. I did management consulting and in investment consulting for local tech companies and IPO companies. I'm a revenue expert. I deal mainly with revenue recognition and contract accounting. And then before that, I was an auditor at Deloitte. I'm a CPA. I have my MBA from LSU Shreveport in Louisiana. And then I went to CSUN for my bachelor degree. I earned my CPA about 5 years ago or 6 years ago now. And so, and then I'm on a variety of different volunteer boards. So if you have any questions about any of this, you can always check on my LinkedIn. You can see the YouTube here is, it's actually a rather popular for accounting. It's a rather popular channel. It has thousands of views every single month. So feel free. There's a lot of great resources here that go over specific questions you may have. And if you do have a good specific question, I'll upload a video. And the podcast is over here. So let's go over what this course means for you. Here's the student learning outcomes, but I'm going to summarize it. I'm going to teach you how to allocate and how to make estimates and how to schedule things out and make budgets. And it's things you need to learn for your life. So if I was to ask you, what do you want for your future, right? What do you want for your future? Do you want a house? Do you want a family? Do you want a car, a specific truck? Do you want a Tesla? And if I was to ask you that, you might have some things in mind, right? You might say, I want any one of those things. Well, do you have a plan to get there? Are the things you're doing in your day-to-day life getting you to that plan? If you haven't thought about your future, why haven't you thought about it? And let's define some goals. That's what we're doing for businesses as well, right? And I'm going to teach you about how businesses approach these pieces, right? How do we make the plan? How do we then budget and forecast to assign when we're going to expect to get to that plan? And then how do we make our daily actions reflect that plan so we get to the goalpost? And then also, how do we measure our past to make sure that we're on track for our plan, right? That's the whole point of accounting, is we can look at the past in order to see what we've done so we can get to our future. That's a summary of all these goals. So when we're talking about things like cost concepts, why do we need to understand costs? So we know what we've done in the past and we can plan for costs in the future. Why do we want to distinguish about different costs? So we can manage it, right? We can't manage what we don't measure. So we need to be able to measure things in order to manage them. And then all of these preparation tools like income statements, analyses, and different costing models, all of that's going to be going into building forecasts, like seeing how we can break out, like you might have 3 different actions in your life, right? You might be a student, you might also have a part-time job, and you also might be a parent, right? In community college. And you could kind of measure out like, how much does this cost me and what is going to be my return in the future in order to determine if that's going to help you get to buying your house one day or whatnot. So same we're going to do for business is really understand the nature of why we're making certain expenses and what kind of returns we're going to get based on the time value of money. No, this is a no joke class, right? It's a Saturday class. Normally it's 5 hours a week. So an hour every day, or an hour, 2 hours, 3 days a week. We're only doing 3-hour lectures. So I'm going to go rather quickly. And that's why you have to rewatch them or use the other resources I've given you and do the extra homework. There's no extra credit offered in this course. And a lot of times I'll be covering 2 chapters a lecture because we also miss 3 classes because of holidays. We have the Thanksgiving holiday. We just missed the Labor holiday. And we missed, and we're going to miss the last week of class because of the Christmas and winter break. So being on Saturday, it's good news and bad news. Very few lectures. So you're going to have to move quick. So that's good news where, hey, less class time. Bad news, and good news is more flexibility for you. Bad news is less class time. So if you need me, come to my office hours, or make sure you're using these resources on your own. There's going to be 2 tests, 1 midterm, 1 final, and they're going to make up a total of 60% of your grade, 30% each. There's in-class quizzes, or we can just call these online quizzes now. So there's a quiz for every chapter. You'll take it online. It's open note. So you only get 1 shot at the quizzes, and then you have weekly homeworks. The homeworks are pretty time intensive, so make sure you're taking your time for each week. Know that because this is a 5-unit course, you're expected to spend about 3 hours a week on self-study for a 5-unit course. So I try to make it so it's about a 15-hour course. I've done 15 hours of time that you have to put into it a week. I've done surveys. Most students say it's actually about 5 to 10 hours of extra work if you're really studying. Some students lean towards the 15. It doesn't go over 15 hours extra a week. And there is a lot of flexibility. I expect you to show up on time and to participate. This will be 5% of your grade. If you don't show up 3 times, or if you don't do roll call with your video, or if you don't have your video on the entire time we're doing quizzes, you fail the class. You need to have your video on. I need to know it's you, especially when we're doing quizzes, and you need to show up. I'm expecting we're all adults here. This is our second round of this class, so I'm not going to give you I'll just let you know if you haven't shown up enough and that you're not passing, right? So make sure everyone's showing up. Here's a breakdown of the scores: midterm, final, homework and quizzes, and class participation. This is pretty generous here, right? You have more than 30% of your grade, or a total of 40% of your grade is stuff that is open note or just showing up and being professional. And then the midterm and final exam will also be open note. So they will be rather intense, but you'll be able to access resources. I'm very clear cut with the 900 to 1,000, and then I round up. So if it's 89, if you have an 89.5 or above, I'll round you up. But that's my clear cut piece. And then I also round exams. So if everyone gets the same problem wrong on an exam, I'll round you up. So pretty generous with all of that stuff. I will respond to your email, but you have to give me a week. All right. I work full time. I generally try to respond pretty timely, but I'll respond within a week if you have any questions. That's what my office hours are for, really, though. It is right. If you have any stress right now, I know this is a stressful time. Here's some mental health resources. And then I'm expecting you not to cheat. This is especially important with Zoom, but I will be watching your videos. If I see you check your phone or something like that on your video when we're doing a test, I'm going to report you. This is one of the easier classes, and if you need to cheat at home online, I'm not confident that you're going to be able to continue on with your education. So especially when things return back to classroom, I need you all to make sure you understand this material. If you need accommodations, let me know. And if you're having technical issues, let me know. And then main piece here is you really need to actively work through the chapter questions and work through the homework to understand it. So that's this class. It's all going to be focused in Canvas. So let me go there real quick. Courses. So let's see, managerial accounting. That syllabus is here. I'll update it as needed. I think this is the best view you can have, the syllabus view. It tells you exactly what we're going to be doing the next few months. We'll be together for 3 months. So next class, you're expected to finish chapter 1 and chapter 2 homework. That's the assessments are quizzes and the assignments are your homework. So there's a lot those are our relatively lightest chapters. So we're covering 2 right off the gate. There's no extensions for this. So you have a busy week for this week. And then we'll be doing chapter 3 and chapter 4 and 5, chapter 6, and then our midterm will be October 16th and all the way through chapter 7. So in about a month and a half, we'll be doing our first midterm. And then let's continue on. October 30th, we'll be doing about a chapter or 2 chapters a week. So I'll try to rotate. And then before your midterm and before your final, I'll make sure that we have a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, just to cover what's going to be on the test. Nothing will be a surprise. So that's what the course is looking like. And I'll jump into the materials, but I'll give 5 minutes, 10 minutes right now just for any questions about the course. And then we'll go dive straight into the materials. Any questions? Going once. Does this make sense? Seem fair? Can I get thumbs up or anything? Some signs of life from the class?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Then I'll just dive straight in then. If there's no questions, it's straightforward. I'm always open to feedback. So this class is for you. It's so you become an effective professional one day and you kind of hopefully start figuring out where you want to go. So If there's something you need that I'm not providing or anything I can do to help you, just let me know. I'm here. I'm really here to make everything easier. Are the exams during class time? Yes, they'll be during class time. And so I'll just proctor those exams and you'll take them live during class. Good question. Okay, so let's go into our first chapter. I'll do one chapter, then we'll take a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll do another chapter, and then I'll upload these lectures online. Feel free to stop me throughout the lecture if you have questions.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
So the quizzes will be like the next class, during class?
The quizzes no, the quizzes are on your own pace. They're just due by the next class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I try to give this as much flexibility as possible. I imagine most of the students who are taking a Saturday class are working. So feel free to take it at your own leisure. These classes are going to be designated to lectures just because it's an accelerated class.